And God saw everything that he had made, and, behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Genesis 1 verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, etc. Either all that he had made on the several 6 days of the creation, he took a survey of them, looked over them again, as workmen do when they have finished their work, to see if anything is amiss or wanting, not that anything of this nature can be supposed in the works of God, but such a survey is attributed to him after the manner of men, to show the completeness of his works, and the excellency of them. Picarellus limits this to what had been done on this day, with respect to man, who alone, as he thinks, was the subject of this day's work, and so it respects the creation of man after the image and likeness of God, the forming of the woman out of his rib, and so providing a suitable helper for him, giving them dominion over all the creatures, and suitable food for the support of the animal life, and God reflected on this, and foresaw it would be good in the issue, as it was in itself. And behold, it was very good. It had been said of everything else, at the close of each day's work, excepting the second, that it was good, but here the expression is stronger upon the creation of man, the chief and principal work of God, that it was very good, he being made upright and holy, bearing the image of his Creator upon him, and in such circumstances as to be happy and comfortable himself, and to glorify God. The phrase may be expressive not only of the goodness of everything God had made, as it was in itself, and in its use, but of his complacency, and delight therein, everything being made for himself and for his pleasure. Revelation 4 verse 11. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. By that time all these works on this day were finished, the sun had gone round the earth, or the earth about that, for the space of 24 hours, which completed the sixth day, within which term of time God had determined to finish all his works, as he did. This day, according to Capejus, was the 23rd of April, and, according to Archbishop Usher, the 28th of October, or, as others, the 6th of September. Mr. Whiston, as has been before observed, is of opinion, that the 6 days of the creation were equal to 6 years, and the Persians have a tradition, which they pretend to have received from Zoroasters, that God created the world, not in 6 natural days, but in 6 times or spaces of different length, called in their tongue Gahan Barha. The first of these spaces, in which the heavens were created, was a space of 45 days, the second, in which the waters were created, 60 days, the third, in which the earth was created, 75 days, the fourth, in which grass and trees were created, 30 days, the fifth, in which all creatures were made, 80 days, the sixth, in which man was created, 75 days, in all 365 days, or a full year. The first of the 6 principal good works they are taught to do is to observe the times of the creation. And the ancient Tuscans or Etrurians allot 6,000 years to the creation, the order of which, with them, is much the same with the Mosaic account, only making a day 1,000 years. In the first 1,000, they say, God made the heaven and the earth, in the next, the firmament, which appears to us, calling it heaven, in the third, the sea, and all the waters that are in the earth, in the fourth, the great lights, the sun and moon, and also the stars, in the fifth, every volatile, reptile, and 4-footed animal, in the air, earth, and water, which agrees with Picarellus, see Gill on Genesis 1:25, and in the sixth, man, and whereas they say God employed 12,000 years in all his creation, and the first 6 being passed at the creation of man, it seems, according to them, that mankind are to continue for the other 6,000 years. And it is a notion that obtains among the Jews, that, answerable to the 6 days of creation, the world will continue 6,000 years. It is a tradition of Elias, an ancient Jewish doctor, that the world shall stand 6,000 years, 2,000 void, 2,000 under the law, and 2,000, the days of the Messiah. And Baal Hadarim observes, there are 6 alephs in the first verse of this chapter, answerable to the 6,000 years the world is to continue, and R. Gedaliah says, at the end of the 6th millennium the world shall return without form and void, to its former condition, tohu and bohu, and the whole shall be a Sabbath. And very particular is another writer of theirs concerning these 6 days of the creation, who having spoken of the day of judgment, the resurrection of the dead, and the world to come, observes, that the 6 days' work is an intimation and sign of these things. On the 6th day man was created, and the work was perfected on the 7th. So the kings of the nations shall be in the world 5,000 years, answerable to the 5 days in which the fowls, and creeping things of the waters, and the rest, were created, and the holding of their kingdoms will be a little within the 6th millennium, answerable to the creation of cattle and beasts, who were now created on the beginning of it, the 6th day, and the kingdom of the house of David will be in the 6th millennium, answerable to the creation of man, who knew his Creator, and ruled over them all, and at the end of that millennium will be the day of judgment, answerable to man's being judged at the end of it, the 6th day, and the 7th millennium will be the Sabbath. And a like notion obtains among the Persian Magi. It is said that Zerdusht, or Zoroaster's, was born in the middle age of the world, so it was told him from the age of Chomaras, the first man, unto thy age are 3,000 years, and from this thy age unto the resurrection are 3,000 years.